This is WNY News Now with live breaking news.
Welcome to WNY News Now. Justin Gould and Matt Hummel coming on the air a little earlier today as we have some breaking news here in the city of Jamestown. The Jamestown Jammers Baseball League in the city is moving out once again. Want to get to live press conference here. Jamestown Mayor Sam Teresi speaking along with officials. Let's listen.
Money and paying taxes, and the contracts that are given out to various businesses to support and the countless visitors that are coming to Jamestown over the course of the summer, whether they be parents of ball players or scouts or other business folks just scouting out the territory. This is economic development. It's creating a quality of life in the community in which business are more and more making their determination as to where they want to stay, invest, or to locate, themselves want to be, and where they think they can attract people into a community. And quality of life is more and more and more rising to the top of that list of considerations. So whether it's Dietrich Park or Bergman Park or the Northwest Arena or the Reg Lene Center for the Arts, and we can rattle off all of the other community-owned assets and city taxpayer assets that we invest in and that we program and make good things happen, not only for the benefit of those of us that live here, but those that are visiting here and those that may be future residents of this area. It's important, and this is important. The other thing that I'd like to say before I vanish with my acknowledgments and thank yous is the commissioner is right. The announcement today is the first step in a road to making this dream a reality. There's a gestation period for this project like there is for any other project, whether it's
So again, Jamestown Mayor Sam Teresi speaking in a live press conference. Looks like that feed's coming out.
There's a planning
back here. So again, that feed there at Dietrich Park, thick walls there, thick concrete, kind of hard for us to get our live signal. Of course, we'll dip back into that as soon as we can. Want to bring on Norm Rodriguez. He's WNY News Now Chief Sports Correspondent. Norm, today's news for many in the city is obviously very sad. You've worked with the team a little bit. What are you hearing and seeing today?
What I'm hearing and what I'm seeing today for the Jamestown Jammers is no surprise to me. I've been hearing about the team relocating for the last 3 years, so the whole duration I've worked there.
You know, and you're right, Norm, I've heard the same thing, actually through different people that have contacted us about it. And right. I knew yesterday when we found out there was a press conference, in the back of my mind, I had to be honest, that this was going to happen, but you know, it's certainly something. I don't think it's the end necessarily. I think the next year or so will be interesting to see how the city bounces back.
And you know, Matt, this is a championship team. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is footage we're showing here from earlier this year, I think it was last month. Mm-hmm. You know, they came home with a championship. You know, Barone, we've seen him. He's a great manager, Norm. I mean,
he won Coach of the Year 2 years in a row. Two
right.
years in a row.
And that translates to the guys, really. I mean, this
yes,
is good baseball here in Jamestown.
Yes. Each of the years I've worked there, they've hit the playoffs. The first year, they lost in the wild card game. Second year, they were 1 win shy of the championship. And the third year, they won the championship.
And so, Matt, do we know specifically what is next for the Jammers? Obviously, the current team is headed out of the city.
Well, this is my understanding, but I honestly need to look back in the video because I was kind of multitasking. But my understanding is the Jammers franchise itself will be in the hands of a non-for-profit, and it's going to have a bunch of community members and business owners and what have you that will keep the Jammers in their hands until they find an owner that will come in and own the team and have like a new league maybe or something like that. So
Right.
it'll be interesting to see what they do over the next year. It could be something that we could have a new team in 2 months. We
Right.
can have one in, I hate to say it, but 5 or 10 years. We don't know.
But according to information that we've obtained live here with the reporter Bronson Rasmussen on the scene, they will be relocating to the Milwaukee area. Officials there telling us that they're going to be seeking a new owner for the Jammers team here, donating the assets to a non-for-profit to try to help that move forward. Of course, live coverage continues on WNYNewsNow.com, and we will have much more coming up in sports on News Now at noon. Norm, thanks so much for joining us. News
Thank
Now
you.
at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand from the WNY News Now studios in downtown Jamestown. This is News Now at noon.
And thanks for joining us. I'm Justin Gould.
And I'm Matt Hummel. Now at noon, state spending and political corruption take center stage in the New York State gubernatorial debate. The highlights are moments away.
Plus, women's right to choose and public safety are the talk of two debates here in Jamestown. Our political team is standing by with the details. But first, we check in with Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter, who's in the First Defense Weather Center. Hey, Dakota.
Hey, Jay and Matt, and it definitely is a little bit of a sad day since the Jammers are leaving the city, and I'm sure we'll have a lot more on that as News Now continues. And let's take a look at the radar. It's clear across western New York, but there's something different about this radar image. We'll talk about it during the full weather segment a little bit later on. The high yesterday was 50. Again, that's 7 degrees below average. 35 degrees was where we bottomed out. Again, right at average. This is almost the same as yesterday. And we picked up 0.01 inches of rain at the Jamestown Airport yesterday. That's a 24-hour rainfall total. So 38 degrees for the early afternoon, mostly cloudy skies, and the temperatures really are not going anywhere with the socked in cloud cover. 40 degrees. Chance for an isolated rain shower through the afternoon, but the chance is rather small. Clouds hang tough tonight. Temperatures not dipping back a whole lot for tonight because of the cloud cover, so that's good news. We'll time out the next rain chances that comes our way. Plus, how's that storm system doing that could come across the East Coast? We'll talk about it a little bit later on. Jay, Matt.
Alrighty, Dakota, thank you. The debate Tuesday evening between Assemblyman Andy Goodell and his opponent Judith Einock turned a bit combative at times as the two exchanged barbs and questioned each other's opinion and clarity. One of the... Oh, darn it.
That's all right. You're so excited.
I'm on a roll.
Well, one of the biggest topics, Justin, last night was abortion rights, and the two vastly disagreed on that.
Einock said abortion is one of the reasons she is seeking the assembly seat. Listen.
When these laws are made to limit our rights as women, they're extremely disrespectful of us as people. If they presume that one group of people has power over another group of people, and they presume that we as women don't know how to manage our own bodies and our own lives. Now, whether you're a woman who will not have an abortion or whether you're a woman who will consider an abortion, I support the woman. It is her choice. It is her choice. And no one else but her has the right to decide.
Now, Goodell countered that abortion laws. Goodell countered by saying abortion laws have been on the books in New York State since 1973.
He also said that a current bill would approve late-term abortion up to the day prior to the due date.
We're talking about aborting children that are fully developed, that can live outside the womb. And so the Reproduction and Rights Act, if you will, that I led the debate on, would allow those kinds of abortions. And I think that's wrong. Once the child can survive outside the womb, I think we need to recognize that the child has rights too. Our current law already says you can have a late-term abortion if the mother's life is at risk. We already says that the baby is dead, you can have an abortion. If there's a miscarriage, that's not illegal. Those exceptions are already in there. This bill goes way beyond that. And that's why I have a problem with it. And
INOC said she would support the bill if women really believed it would be a good law.
When asked about corruption in the Cuomo administration and in Albany in general, INOC said pay to play has to end, and sealed bidding that is opened in the public is very important.
We can talk about what we can do in the legislature to stop corruption there, conflicts of interest, but I think you're more interested in the funding issue and it being tied to a party. I disagree with you. I think it's smart strategy, not corruption, that gets us to having a Democratic Assembly member who can bring home more for this county because of the way the process works in Albany, and not all of it is corrupt.
Now, Goodell called it scary how much corruption there is at the state level.
The assemblyman said he drafted the current pay-to-pay legislation and wants to add state comptrollers' oversight on contracts. He also wants to make it a crime to not report corruption.
I drafted it. I'm seeking co-sponsors, and I hope that goes through. But I'm also co-sponsor on the Public Officers Accountability Act. And that requires a detailed listing of all member items. You may recall Sheldon Silver went to jail because what he did is he took member items, based on his political position. He gave it to one company, and they would then refer business to his law firm, and he collected a fee. Here you have the governor's chief of staff arrested and convicted, going to prison. Why? Well, he not only got bribes and cash in his own pocket, but he rigged the bids. Now, we've had competitive bidding since 1953. Sealed biddings, open in public since 1953. The reason the governor's top staff are going to jail is because they rigged the bids. They made it so that only a high contributor to the governor could successfully submit the bid.
When talking about state funding and grants, Goodell said there's a lot of active people in the community who know how to best get and use that funding.
INOC countered, though, saying that the area is not getting as much funding as it could. When asked from the audience where the money comes from, she said it's state money.
It comes from appropriations through the state. It comes from working with your colleagues in the assembly in order to come up with answers to come up with things that bring it home for it comes through the state coffers. It's tax money, it's other monies that are available to us, and Catherine,
where is that money going now that it's not coming here?
other places in the state.
We're not getting.
When Bill Parmet was our assembly member, he brought home millions and millions of dollars that we're not getting now, and we haven't been getting while we've had a Republican in the assembly. Now, Catherine Young, we all know, is very good. When she wants to get something passed in the assembly, often she has to work with a Democrat.
Now, Goodell rebutted by saying he works close with Senator Young, also a Republican. Joining us now is Rory Polero. He's WNY News Now's chief political correspondent. Rory, last night you and I were both at that debate. What's your takeaway from this? Obviously, one thing that I wanted to point out is that a lot more people were attentive to the sheriff's debate, which we're talking about next here on deck, but this debate seems like in the course of politics, it's the bigger one.
Well, it's the higher office, and I think maybe that's why the sheriff's debate garnered more interest, was because it's local, very local. It's easier to talk to one of the candidates for that than it is to talk to Trump or Schumer
Right.
or somebody like that. My takeaway was, first off, that we spent a week there last night.
I agree.
But usually, in my experience, local debates don't get that contentious, and this one did. I think both candidates expressed themselves fairly well. I think Goodell's experience showed through, and I think Einach's passion showed through. I do think she stumbled a bit when asked where the grant money comes from, and for a little while that seemed to throw her off stride. But there was good participation, and everybody got to say pretty much what they wanted. I think it educated the people that watched.
And there was, like you said, a lot of good back and forth, certainly between the candidates and the folks in the audience. They're hitting on a lot of really hard issues, from the abortion to state corruption. And I want to go on the corruption angle here for a moment, because they talked about that in the gubernatorial debate last night. Also, it's a huge issue for Albany.
Well, even look right now. There's a state assemblyman from the Rochester area. Oh, I can't think of his name right offhand, but
It was Tuesday that
he
he was
just got indicted.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, the charges were announced through a criminal complaint. So it's definitely something that's an issue.
It's the elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about at that level, but the voters all want to talk about it, it seems like.
Right, awesome. Rory, thank you. We'll talk to you in just a second here.
Yes, sir.
Well, on the flip side to that, there was another debate last night. County Sheriff incumbent Joe Girassi and challenger Jim Quattrone agreed and disagreed on several issues at the League of Women Voters debate.
Both candidates were asked about their thoughts on having two drug task forces in Chautauqua County, the Southern Tier Regional Drug Task Force and the Jamestown Metro Drug Task Force.
Quattrone said he didn't understand the reasoning behind having two drug task forces instead of one.
Frankly, don't know why we have that. When we had one drug task force, we had successes in the enforcement of the drug laws. We need to get back to that. What I've started doing already is the first group organization that I met with the organization, the Chautauqua County Chiefs of Police, because I think it's important that we work with them together in all that we're doing.
Girassi, meanwhile, said it was the city of Jamestown's decision to split the task forces into two.
The reason that we have two today, not because I want to, absolutely not. And I've met with the chief, I've met with the mayor, we've met together. They chose to move and do their own thing, and it's not something that I can say, you can't do that. That was their choice. I said, don't do this. I've been in law enforcement long enough to know what it was like when each agency in the county was doing their own thing. That's why the Southern Tier Regional Drug Task Force was formed. So we want to be one task force, and I don't want anybody to think that is anything but the case.
One of the most urgent problems in the sheriff's department involves the deputy's ability to handle those addicted to drugs.
Quattrone detailed how he would prepare officers to deal with addictions.
One of the programs that has been effective in other areas of the country is a program which they refer to it as an angel program, where the officers can be prepared and educated on how to help those who are facing addictions. And instead of not always arresting them, but connecting them with a peer advocate, connecting them with the services that they need at that time. But if somebody is ready for help, we can't say come back tomorrow when the clinics are open. We have to connect them with somebody. So that's that collaboration, working together with other agencies, but also sharing that information with other police agencies and working together.
Now, Girassi responded by saying his officers are already working with mental health services to help deal with the drug epidemic.
We work with mental health. We work with the health department. In fact, something I'm very proud of, and that came from the health department. It is now the health department of Chautauqua County provides medical services for the Chautauqua County Jail. Fantastic. They're better built for that. And so we continue to do that. The Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, which former County Executive Vince Horgan helped get moving and off the ground, one of the things that we're trying to get them to latch on to is a program called LEAD, law enforcement assisted diversion, started in Seattle, Washington, has moved across the country. It is now in Albany, New York, and the former police chief of Albany will be meeting with us in December to talk about this.
Now, the sheriff said that there's several things he believes still needs to be done, such as creating an additional unit in the county jail.
He also said, in addition to that addiction unit, that the county is ready for the next generation 911, but the state overall is not.
He urged everyone to sign up for that Smart 911 service. You can learn more at smart911.com. Bringing on Rory Palero once again, another heated debate really at times. I think both men were cordial, but people in the audience probing some really good questions, Rory.
Well, I think this one was a more even-handed debate than the other one. But I think it came down to, for the voters, it came down to a choice between Joe's obvious experience and administrative skills versus Quattrone's call for change, and he also has a lot of experience. I think the two kept it cordial, and I think it was a very close debate, and I think both guys were above board in the debate. I think Gerasi pointed out a lot of things that his experience showed through, whereas Quattrone was more like the fresh face with fresh ideas, and I think that's what it's going to come down to for the voters. Do you like what you have, or do you want change?
I personally think that night, I wouldn't be surprised if it's too close to call. I think it's something that, like you said, each side has an advantage in their own way. I've heard, I think it's balanced from what I'm hearing so far from people.
Yeah.
I know our poll is saying that a lot of people are going to vote for Quattrone compared to Gerasi, but just being out in general, I think it's going to be close. I think we're going to have a very interesting night, gentlemen, on November 6th.
Absolutely. Next here, so much more to tell you about. We break away from politics a bit to take a look at weather, sports, and a spooky Halloween event for all.
But first, one more big debate last night happened in New York City. Governor Andrew Cuomo and challenger Marc Molinaro. We hear from them right after this.
We have been fighting this drug war for 50 plus years. It's time that we get a little smarter in our enforcement. We can't just incarcerate them and then let them go.
A big deal is fiscal responsibility.
We need to have an open, honest, and accountable budget. We have to encourage the community to be involved. Every interaction with our community has to be looked at that as an opportunity to build a partnership to keep our community safe and secure. When in doubt, put the public first.
Right.
And you can't go wrong with that.
Keep your car running smooth this winter at Express Bike and Auto, located at 1761 Foot Avenue Extension right here in Jamestown. They're your one-stop shop for all of your automotive needs. Looking for a new ride? Express Bike and Auto even sells vehicles. And guess what? Financing is available. What are you waiting for? Visit Express Bike and Auto at 1761 Foot Avenue Extension today.
Coming soon to downtown Jamestown, Pearl City Hops Restaurant and Tavern. The full-service restaurant will carry a wide array of craft brews, wines, and food pairings to make your taste buds sing. Enjoy breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week, including a Sunday brunch buffet. A truly one-of-a-kind experience coming soon.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
And welcome back to News Now at noon. New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo and Republican challenger Marc Molinaro debated last night in New York City.
Cuomo and Molinaro started off the debate talking about how the state can grow its economy.
But it wasn't long before things got very heated.
You voted to increase county spending 45%. That's where the taxes come from.
No, sir.
County government and county
Mr.
government spending.
The governor now has monopolized 2 minutes, and he's now. I'd like to rebuttal. They aren't, sir. And the reason that county spending increased during those years, with all due respect, is because this state government, before we imposed finally a Medicaid cap, continued to force state spending until. Excuse me, sir. Let me finish.
Reduced your spending.
No, it didn't.
And it kept going up.
No, no, sir. It did not. Listen. You could make up numbers if you wish, but I served in the county legislature.
Did the Medicaid cap reduce your spending?
Governor, First of all, the years that you're referring to, you were not governor. I've been in office since 1995. Let me finish my thought, sir. We were able to hold spending in county government, but mandated expenditures continue to rise. Now, to the same point, we also saw economic growth at that time. So the average tax bill for Dutchess County taxpayers, well, I was a member of the county legislature, decreased. But over the last 8 years, we've seen total economic stagnancy, which means communities aren't getting the assessed valuation growth and property taxes aren't going down.
And as you see there, the first shot fired was about state spending. Cuomo repeatedly insisting that he's kept state spending under 2%.
However, Molinaro in the Citizens Budget Commission has pointed out that the state spending is actually closer to 4%.
Things also started to get pretty nasty between the two when corruption was brought up.
Both candidates insisted the other was more corrupt and repeatedly yelled over each other.
8 individuals closely associated with your administration are now going to jail or have gone to jail for federal corruption charges. At what point after 8 years of being in office do you take responsibility, or at least admit you either have benefited politically from it, or you have no clue what's going on within the administration?
For you to say, in your situation, to point fingers, yes, people in my administration made a mistake, they went to jail. Your county legislature is calling for an investigation on you for kickbacks and perjury, where you gave a contract to a vendor and then a family member got a job and they got another contract. That's your own county legislature asking for a criminal investigation of you.
And it is highly, highly hypocritical at best for you. Your chief assistant, Joe Percoco, making phone calls from your very office.
This is your family member putting money in your pocket. This is a bribe or a kickback
it is
you
not,
took.
Sir, it is not. It's been demonstrably proven false.
While there were statewide issues discussed, such as healthcare and medical marijuana, the only question specifically about upstate was if the candidates support a new stadium for the Buffalo Bills. Cuomo says not at this time.
Molinaro says he feels like there needs to be another debate in upstate New York. Cuomo did not address reporters after the debate or take any questions. Obviously, Matt, we've been reporting on this for a long time. There's more than the candidates that are here between Molinaro and Cuomo. A third-party candidate who's very vocal, Larry Sharpe. There's also 2 other candidates. There is Green Party candidate Howie Hawking and independent candidate Stephanie Miner as well. So there's a lot of people on this state ballot and a lot of people saying they want to see a full debate between all of them. And as we talked about earlier this week on the show, Cuomo never wants to talk to reporters, especially in upstate New York. Hopefully, if they do get a debate in Buffalo, which Molinaro has called for a debate in Buffalo and in the southern tier, we would get answers.
Well, and I think personally that could be Cuomo's downfall right there.
Right.
If he's not answering questions from the media and he's dodging, people may think he has something to hide.
Right.
I don't know. Could be just me nitpicking as a media member, but he's got to be more
He didn't talk
accessible.
to us at the National Comedy Center, so certainly it's, he doesn't talk to anybody.
Well, hey, who does talk to us? Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter with a look at some more cold weather coming our way when we come back.
Fall is here, and Dorler Landscape Designs is ready to help you with fall cleanup. Visit their website, dorlerlandscape.com, and download their fall cleanup special coupon. For more than 2 decades, Dorler Landscape Designs has worked hard to get your property ready for winter. And once the snow falls, count on Dorler Landscape Designs to keep your driveway clear. Call Dorler Landscape Designs today and let us work for you. Dorler Landscape Designs at dorlerlandscape.com.
The Fitness Bunker in Lakewood is a locally owned and operated club that cares about your health and wellness. They invest in it. Right now, enter their 30-day challenge, where for only $69, you get 30 days of unlimited everything. That's right, everything, along with 2 one-on-one personal training sessions. Then, if you lose 10 pounds, you'll get the next month free. Plus, the first place winner will get 2 Buffalo Bills tickets or a $100 gift card. Details right now on the Fitness Bunker's Facebook page.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvanna Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now. First Defense Weather is sponsored by Quick Solutions of Jamestown. Count on Quick Solutions for printing, copying, mass mailings, and so much more. Part of your team. Learn more at QuickSolutionsUSA.com. That's QuickSolutionsUSA.com.
First Defense Weather, the Southern Tier's only live and local weather source. Now, here's Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter.
Welcome back to News Now at Noon. Let's kick off this weather segment with the Sky Vision Camera Network. That is the camera on top of the old water tower in front of the Mill Creek Mall in Erie. I think they're stopped at a red light there, but it's 46 degrees with that north wind to 9, and you can see some of the cloud cover across Erie as well. Let's go to Lynx 1 and let's step into the new First Defense Weather Center. And isn't it pretty, people? And first of all, let's take a look at the weather eye pictures, because we had some small hail that came down in a rain shower yesterday afternoon. These were about the size of peas, which is very small hail, and this actually could have been more like ice pellets, which is essentially rain that freezes before it reaches the ground. And so we had that fell with a rain shower just after 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. That was in my driveway. And if you have any pictures of the weather or videos of the weather, you know how to send it to us. Hunters WX on Facebook and Twitter is how you get it to us. And oh baby, temperatures ain't going that far. You can see here we're going to be stuck in the 40s throughout the next 7 days. But the good news here is that there's not going to be a whole lot of spread in the temperature. So that's good, but it's not good in the fact that this is below average. We should be near 57 degrees, and I don't see signs of that happening, at least for a little while. Currently at the airport, it's 37 degrees with a north wind of 7, and you combine the air temp and the wind, you got that wind chill of freezing at 32 degrees. Again, the News Now cam is still down for maintenance, so this is the JCC dorms, and you can see some nice color showing up on some of the trees by the dorms. Now let's take a live look at First Defense Doppler radar. You can see there's a low pressure area up here in Maine. This is Maine's first snowstorm of the season, but what we're watching is this down here. This is the remnants of Willa, which made landfall yesterday on the Pacific side of Texas. This is going to come into the Gulf of Mexico and then ride up the Atlantic East Coast, bring the East Coast a storm system. It's still too early to pinpoint the exact location of that storm and if it will have any impacts to us, but it's something we'll take a look at. Close in on First Defense Doppler. I told you during the first weather segment something's different about this radar image, and I'll go through it very quickly. This is the half-degree radar scan. Radar looks at different elevations. The dish tilts up, tilts up, tilts up. It does about 18 different tilts, and it scans the sky at different elevations. This is a half-degree. This is the base elevation. This is what you would normally see when you look at radar. And of course, the Earth curves, so the radar beam goes in a straight line, so it gets higher into the sky. So on a half-degree scan, it's about 5,000 feet off the ground from the airport in Buffalo down to the southern tier. But the Weather Service in Buffalo lowered the base elevation scan this morning to 0.3 degrees to give better coverage to Erie, Pennsylvania. But it also has an impact to us because the beam is now closer to the ground. So now they shaved about 1,000 feet off the beam height. So now it's 4,000 feet compared to 5. That's better because we get lower scans, which means, because that's where a lot of the weather happens, down in the lower part of the atmosphere. Say goodbye to the News Now weather set. As we time out the rest of the day here in Future Scan, you can see just a few, there is a chance for a few slight light rain showers or drizzle or a snow flurry, but otherwise it'll be dry. Going into tomorrow, same story here, but as long as the wind, notice the wind direction, not really changing a whole lot. As long as we have a northerly wind, that's not going to warm up our temperatures, even though we're going to see some nice sunshine for Thursday and Friday. Temps today will top out only in the 40s here, limited sunshine. This is where the higher temps will be once you work inland. Temperatures drop off here because there will be more cloud cover there. The next 7 days of your life coming up, 41 degrees Thursday, Friday, again 45 as well. Sunshine, but again, rain and snow returns for the weekend into early next week as well. Normal Have sports right after this.
Turn to Brotherhood Property Maintenance for all your lawn care and landscaping needs. Serving both commercial and residential lots. Check out Jamestown's fastest growing landscaping crew on Facebook or call us now to book an appointment.
Hey, this is Ryan Hedrick reporting from the Jamestown Bowling Company, where the bowling is off the hook, the food is even better, and the camaraderie watching sports is oh so great.
The food is fantastic and the drinks are cold.
Mark was bowling almost a perfect game. Mark, do you come here a lot?
Every day.
Wow, Mark comes here every day. No excuse for you not to get to Jamestown Bowling Company on Foote Avenue. Jamestown Bowling Company. Eat, drink, bowl, and be merry.
I just love to be with the dogs, and I like to do them one at a time. They don't wait for 5 hours in my shop. We have full groom, which includes everything from A to Z, nails, of course brushing, any trimming that needs to be done. I do offer teeth brushing, which is a little extra. So if he takes me 2 hours, it's $40. If he takes me 3 hours, I still keep it down. As long as the dog comes back happy and not at the door, I'm happy.
The Frewsburg Pharmacy is the small town pharmacy with big time service. Located at 26 West Main Street, Greg Nelson treats his customers like family, so you know you are in good hands when you walk through the door. The Frewsburg Pharmacy has everything you need and more, including a gift shop for the seasons. Stop down to the Frewsburg Pharmacy today and let the staff show you why the Frewsburg Pharmacy is the pharmacy that cares about you.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Happy Hump Day, sports fans, and welcome back to News Now at noon. I'm Norm Rodriguez with a look at sports. We start with breaking sports news. Jamestown Jammers manager Anthony Barone announced Wednesday during a press conference that the Jammers have ceased operations in the city. Barone said that the team will be relocating to the Milwaukee area and will become the Milwaukee Milkmen. The Jammers franchise in the city of Jamestown will be donated to a local nonprofit. Officials said they hope to find a new owner. The Jamestown Jayhawks women's basketball team will begin their season on Friday night. They will be on the road for an exhibition game against the Fredonia State Blue Devils. Tip-off will be at 6 o'clock. The Buffalo Sabres will be back in action tomorrow night at home against the Montreal Canadiens. Buffalo is currently 5th in the Atlantic Division with 10 points. The Sabres won their last game against the Anaheim Ducks 4-2, while the Canadiens defeated the Calgary Flames 3-2 yesterday. Puck drop will be at 7 o'clock. The game will be live on MSGB. Fans can also watch the game on the NHL app. The Boston Red Sox took a one-game lead in the World Series after defeating the Dodgers 8-4 last night. Red Sox left fielder Andrew Benintendi set a record with 4 hits in a World Series debut. Eduardo Nunez hit a pinch hit 3-run homer in the 7th inning to seal the deal for the Red Sox. Dodgers shortstop Manny Machado finished with a 3 RBI night. Game 2 will be tonight at 8:09. The game will be televised on Fox. Fans can also view the game on either the ESPN or MLB at Bat app. Justin and Matt, back to you.
Awesome, Norm. Thank you. Some great local Halloween festivities. I'm sure Norm will be attending. The 39th annual Citywide Halloween Fun Fest will be held on Halloween night from 6 to 8 o'clock at the former Allen Park Ice Rink. The event is planned to offer a safe, fun, and no-cost alternative to trick-or-treating for children 12 years and under. The evening will feature games, haunted house refreshments, 2 costume contests, and musical entertainment by Take-Two.
Without the community support we get, whether it's financial or volunteers, this event wouldn't happen. They make it possible, and we feel it's an important event to offer our community because not every child is ready or willing to go out into the dark, even with a parent or an adult, to go to strange houses where they don't know the people, ring doorbells, and, Well, it's fun for a lot of kids. This is something that parents know they can come and do that's safe and fun.
That's Julia Cecila Hanley. She's one of many in charge of the event. There will be 2 grand prize winners who will receive bicycles, you see there, donated by the Jamestown Cycle Shop. For more information about this Halloween Fun Fest, check out our story right now on WNYNewsNow.com.
34 years. Wow.
That's a long time, really, to be doing something like that. And Dakota, as you know, the weather is always unpredictable when it comes to Halloween.
Yeah. And, you know, a lot of people don't even go trick-or-treating anymore. And again, I don't know if a lot of it is just because of how the weather has, I don't want to say the C word, how the weather has different over the past few years. I'm not going to... Anyway, let's get off
How
this.
are we looking for Halloween?
Let's get off this because I'm going to get myself in trouble with what I was about to say. Anyway, there's that Quick Solution 7-day. Temperature's really not going anywhere over the next 7 days. So the temperatures, but the good news of that is the temperatures will remain almost steady over the next 7 days. So if you dress, day to day, then you know how to dress over the next 7 days. And we are continuing to watch the remnants of Willa as it moves into the Gulf Coast. It'll ride up the East Coast. Later in the week, it's still uncertain to know the exact track that'll take and if it will have any impacts to us, if any.
All right, Dakota, thank you. Of course, more of that breaking news from the Jammers announcement today at WNYNewsNow.com. We're your source for breaking news here in the Southern Tier. We'll see you back here tomorrow for our TGIT. It is Thursday Eve. Have a great day, everybody.